The security cameras were supposed to warn her before anyone stepped inside the house. That's why, when Evelyn Cross opened the front door at midnight and heard a child's laughter echoing through her marble halls, her heart nearly stopped. This was impossible. She hadn't told anyone she was coming home early. Not her assistants, not her lawyers, not even the house staff. And yet, there it was again, soft laughter, followed by the unmistakable sound of tiny feet running across floors that cost more than most people's yearly salaries. Before you decide what you think is happening, stay with this story till the end, because what Evelyn saw next changed her life forever. And if stories like this move your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because sometimes one story can change the way you see the world. Evelyn Cross was known to the world as a ruthless billionaire. She built a global tech empire from nothing, survived betrayals that would have broken stronger people, and learned early that emotions were weaknesses you couldn't afford. Her face was on magazine covers, her name whispered in boardrooms, but her mansion on the hill was always silent. Too silent. She preferred it that way. Silence didn't disappoint you. Silence didn't leave. That night, she was supposed to be in Singapore closing a billion-dollar deal. Instead, the meeting ended early, and for the first time in years, she felt an urge she couldn't explain, to go home. As she stepped further inside, her heels clicking sharply against the floor, she saw movement near the living room. Her body tensed. Every instinct trained by years of power and paranoia told her something was wrong. Then she saw her. Maria, the janitor. The woman who came in after midnight, cleaned quietly, and always avoided eye contact. Maria froze when she noticed Evelyn standing there, eyes wide with shock. But what stopped Evelyn from speaking weren't Maria's trembling hands, it was the 4 small children clustered around her legs. Quadruplets. 3 boys and 1 girl, no older than 6. One clutched a worn teddy bear. Another was holding a broken crayon. The little girl looked up first, her eyes big and unafraid, and smiled. Evelyn's mind raced. Employees were strictly forbidden from bringing anyone onto the property. Especially children. Especially at night. Anger rose in her chest, sharp and familiar. "What is this?" she demanded, her voice cold enough to cut glass. Maria immediately stepped forward, shielding the children with her body. "Please," she said, her accent thick, her voice shaking. "I can explain. Please don't fire me. I had nowhere else to go tonight." Evelyn crossed her arms, ready to call security. Then she noticed something that made her pause. The children weren't scared of the mansion. They weren't touching anything expensive. They sat neatly on the floor, whispering to each other, as if afraid to disturb the house itself. These were not misbehaving children. These were children trained by hardship. "Explain," Evelyn said sharply. Maria swallowed hard. She explained that the apartment she rented had flooded that evening. Old pipes burst, water pouring in, destroying what little they owned. The landlord refused to help. No family nearby. No money for a hotel. She had a night shift, and she couldn't leave the children alone. She thought she could hide them in the back room, just for a few hours, clean quickly, and leave before anyone noticed. As Maria spoke, one of the boys started coughing, deep, painful coughs that echoed in the vast room. Maria knelt instantly, rubbing his back with practiced worry. "He has asthma," she said softly, almost apologetically. "The damp makes it worse." Evelyn felt something unfamiliar tighten in her chest. She didn't like it. Emotions made you weak. She reminded herself of that. "You broke the rules," she said. "You know what that means." Maria's eyes filled with tears, but she nodded. "Yes, ma'am, I understand." The children looked up then. The little girl stepped forward again. "Mama, are we in trouble?" she asked quietly. That single sentence hit Evelyn harder than any courtroom battle ever had. She turned away abruptly. Memories she buried decades ago clawed their way back. Nights spent hiding under a kitchen table while her own mother cried, eviction notices taped to the door, hunger disguised as sleep. She hadn't thought about that child in years. The child she used to be. "Stay," Evelyn said suddenly. Maria looked up, confused. "Ma'am, stay for tonight," Evelyn repeated. "It's too late to send you out. The guest wing is empty." Maria couldn't believe what she was hearing. "Thank you," she whispered, tears falling freely now. "Thank you so much." That night, Evelyn couldn't sleep. From her bedroom balcony, She watched as Maria tucked the children into soft beds they'd never known, whispering prayers in a language Evelyn didn't understand. She watched as Maria checked their breathing, adjusted blankets, kissed each forehead like it might be the last time she ever could. The next morning, Evelyn expected the feeling to pass. It didn't. Instead, she found herself asking questions. About the children. About Maria's life. About how a woman working 2 cleaning jobs still couldn't afford a safe home. Maria tried to answer politely, always careful not to complain too much. She spoke about her husband, who died in a factory accident when the children were infants. About medical bills. About choosing between food and rent. About learning to smile even when she was exhausted, because her children deserved at least that. Days turned into weeks. Evelyn delayed her travel. She noticed how the children brought warmth into the house, how laughter filled rooms once echoing with emptiness. She watched as Maria taught them manners, gratitude, resilience. One night, she overheard the children praying, not for toys, not for money, but for their mama to not be tired anymore. That was the night Evelyn broke. She locked herself in her office and cried for the first time in years. Evelyn did something no one expected. She didn't fire Maria. She didn't just help quietly. She changed things. She paid for a new apartment. Then she paid for a better one. She set up a trust fund for the children's education. She ensured medical care. And when Maria tried to refuse, Evelyn said something that shocked even herself. "I don't want to be the woman who walks past suffering just because she can afford to." Months later, the story went public, not because Evelyn wanted praise, but because Maria refused to stay silent. She told the world how a billionaire didn't just give money, but gave dignity. How she listened. How she cared. Evelyn Cross was still powerful. Still wealthy. Still feared in boardrooms. But her greatest success was no longer measured in billions. It was measured in 4 children who now slept without fear, and a mother who finally felt safe. And if you're watching this right now, remember this: sometimes the greatest shock isn't what we see, but what we choose to do after we see it. If this story touched your heart, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that kindness still exists. Because one act of compassion can change more lives than all the money in the world.